Welcome to the Fire Horse Flower Forecast. It is 2026, and in this video, I'm going to share all about the Fire Horse year. You'll get some great insights and tips for this new year, and you'll also come up with a plan on how to best support yourself and catalyze all the best ways to work with the Fire Horse energy this year. Then I'll go specifically deeper into each month for the next 6 months, the collective themes that we'll all be working with, and we'll share some flowers that will support us through those lessons. Grab a pen and paper. I'm going to ask you about 20 speed journaling questions. This will be part of the process to help you gear yourself to see where you can support yourself and how to best use the energy of this year. Okay, so first, just as like a little recap to show the contrast, 2025 was the wood snake year, and it was a yin year. It was much more introspective. And it was also one of those years where it's about planting seeds, starting. It's really like a long-term strategy game. What seeds are you going to plant? What things are you going to put into place for your future for the next 20 years, like a chess game. It was about making wise choices and personal growth and building strong relationships, adapting to new environments, learning new skills, redefining yourself. And of course, as you probably know, lots of transformation and shedding. We're moving into a fire horse year, which you've probably seen a lot about on social media. You'll notice that the way this year makes its entrance is completely different than the way that the snake year or even the dragon year came in. I've noticed this year on social media that many more people are talking about the transition in terms of the Lunar New Year and what those changes mean. And the horse is already about to make its grand entrance. And you see, there's just so much more education out there about it. Because the fire horse year is about outward expression, it's about movement, taking action, being visible, collaboration with other people, but also doing it your own way, not following the crowd and being independent. It's about going for it and focusing on a few single things and really taking action on those single things. It's also a year for caring for yourself, for outdoor activities, challenging yourself, being kind to yourself, and really increasing your self-care time. I see, as I look at like a contrast of the two, last year is the snake year and this year is the fire horse year. The fire horse year seems to be more of like a mental emotional game in terms of like it's rather than setting these like seeds in place for a long-term vision, it's more fast-paced, it's very fast-moving, and it's about keeping your mind and your heart disciplined so you can adjust appropriately to the energies of the year. Moving from wood to fire, even just the characteristics of a fire year, it's very dynamic, it's fast moving, it's inspiring, it's passionate, it's active. You will feel like you are on fire. The downside to this is that you can feel overwhelmed, or you can get burnt out, or like you're spinning your wheels and getting overstimulated and just constantly on that hamster wheel of action without having direction if you're not focused. So I'm going to share some helpful tips on how to keep your cool and stay on track this year. Some random things, lucky numbers this year are 6, 8, and 9. And in terms of colors, if you want to boost the positive qualities of this year, you're going to lean into red, gold, and orange. If you want to sort of calm down the elements, you'll lean into white, silver, and blue. And if you want to ground yourself, you're going to want to lean into green and yellow. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about your physical health and how to support your physical body this year in the fire horse year. One of the first elements that I want to share is to be pickier with the food that you eat. So don't eat just any sort of rubbish food. Be very discerning about what you eat. Don't just eat anything that somebody serves you. If you have a funny feeling about it, don't just go to any restaurant. If something's a little questionable, don't eat it. This is a year to really know what your body needs, figure out what it wants, what disturbs it, what balances it, and move away from the things that disturb the balance in your body. So you can, if you have your pen and paper, you can do this now or you can do this later, but make a list of what foods seem to disturb your body and just being aware of those and being very clear and focused about if it's white sugar, if it's gluten, or if it's dairy, or if it's fried foods, or what alcohol, or whatever it is for you, if you notice a significant disturbance in your body, jot that down so you know this is the year to really take your health to the next level by avoiding the things that don't do you any good. Second thing for supporting your health. This is the year to get some blood tests done or applied kinesiology and find out what your food intolerances or sensitivities are. I know we've heard of something called Carroll testing, which our friend Dr. Tara Winston does. We have a number of applied kinesiology doctors if you're interested in referrals. People that we work with who can do muscle testing. Maybe you have a practitioner in your area who can help you figure out what kind of foods are triggering inflammation in your body. What are you sensitive to? Some of us have sort of like long-term food allergies or food intolerances that are just like flat out. For example, I don't do well with dairy. And that's just sort of a lifelong thing. There may be other foods that maybe for right now, this time period, I should avoid, but later I can work them back into my diet. So this is the year to figure out what that is. And if you don't know the answers to those questions, this is the year to get to the bottom of it and get tested, whatever means you have, whether it's blood testing or muscle testing, and figure out what those are. I want to share one very simple recipe for tea for the horse year that you can make on the fly from home at any time. It's super simple to do, and it only has 2 ingredients. One of them is fresh ginger, lots and lots of fresh ginger. You want to make this tea spicy, spicy, spicy from the ginger. You just slice it up and you put it in water and you boil it along with some dried pineapple slices. Now you want to make sure that the pineapple does not have sulfur dioxide on it. You want just straight up dried pineapple. There's a brand name that we find here at Sprouts called Solely, Solely. The Solely fruits just have straight up dried fruit, nothing added to it. Pineapple slices have really good enzymes for you, so they're really good for digestion when you're eating. So if you have a cup of this tea after you eat, this will help you digest your food better. Same with the ginger. Ginger is excellent for digestion. But if you have this tea away from meals, it will be very good for inflammation and joint pain. Enzymes are really good for joint pain. And then ginger, back to the ginger. I had one herbalist tell me if ginger can't cure it, nothing can. That's how powerful ginger is in terms of reducing inflammation, increasing your circulation, good for digestion, warmth, vitality. Just those 2 ingredients, throw them in a big pot of water, boil them, and then turn it to simmer. And you can simmer for 15, 20 minutes, and then you have the most delicious, kind of sweet and sour and spicy tea. So 1 to 3 cups a day is great. Third tip for this year is to do a lot of outdoor activities. Horse year can take a little bit of challenge. So you want to challenge your body physically a little bit more, whether that's hiking, walking more, climbing, swimming, lifting weights. You don't want to overdo it, but you do want to add a little bit more vigorous activities. Like, for example, if you're not used to walking to work, start walking to work. If you're not used to taking a bike ride, take a bike ride, go hiking on the weekends, do something to challenge yourself physically. It will be really good for you during the fire horse year. Part of it, I think, is you're going to discharge a lot of that excess energy that's coming through in a fire year. So you want to discharge that with engaging in vigorous activities. Okay, the next one is very fun and I love it. And this is your permission slip to pamper yourself. I don't even use that word, pamper yourself, because I'm just not used to using that word. You want to call it self-care, you can refer to it as self-care, but horses like to be pampered. So this is the year that in order to maintain balance with all of the spinning and fire going on, you definitely want to pamper yourself in order to stay clear. So this is the year when you have a permission slip to book in those extra massages, get your acupuncture treatments, go to the spa, get a foot massage, get a scalp massage, get a facial. This isn't like self-care, like Botox treatments, Botox, or getting your nails done. This is more about like a health-focused, taking care of your body. Maybe it's not putting on 5 different layers of skincare, but maybe it's getting a facial massage, doing a Tai Chi class, going to meditation classes, doing something that feels healthfully pampering, like you're spoiling yourself rotten, but also in a way that is boosting your health. This is your permission slip. Take care of yourself this year. The next tip is to do things that make you sweat. This year, we're going to really need to perspire. So whether it is dancing, running, lay out in the sun, or sitting in the sauna, in a nice infrared sauna, this is the year to sweat as much as possible and get rid of those excess toxins. If you're in the sauna, don't overdo it. You don't want to faint. This isn't the year to really overdo things. You want to push yourself. You want to challenge yourself, but also don't overdo it. And then in terms of moving into more emotional health or support, I've got a few tips for you. as well. The first one and the most important is to focus. This is the single most important tip of this year, is to focus on one or two or three things. Horses have a tendency to just go and go and go and go. They like to run and run and run and run. And this year, if you want to spend all your energy and burn out, you want to do a million things and just keep going. That's not what we want to do. We want to focus. So horses, my spiritual teacher actually said, this is the year we need to put on our blinders. So when you see horses, oftentimes will have blinders because they need to focus. They can't be looking at all this stuff in the periphery, or they get startled or distracted. So this is the year that we actually want to put on the blinders, and we want to focus single pointedly on one or two or three things and not look at anything else. We don't want to allow any distractions this year. This is not the year to get distracted. We want to make 1, 2, or 3 goals and stick to those. If we can't complete our goals this year, that's okay. At least we got started on them. We want to remind ourselves to cool down. Horses are a very temperamental animal. That means that we might be, or people around us might be, temperamental or flaky. 1 minute we're passionate about something, and then 1 minute we're exhausted and burnt out and tired of it. So when we find that either ourselves are getting temperamental or the people around us are getting temperamental, remember to just relax and pause and take a break to recharge and cool yourself down. This is also the year to not be easily influenced by others. Don't be easily convinced by what other people say. One of the really helpful phrases that my teacher shared with me was, stick to the right principle, but not your habits. So you want to be virtuous and righteous, but you don't want to do things just because it's a habitual pattern. You definitely want to work with others and collaborate with others. Horses are an animal that like to be around other horses, but you also want to be independent. You want to go your own way, and despite working well and collaborating with others, don't just follow the crowd. Don't just do what everyone else is doing. Don't be influenced by peer pressure. It's like fashion, right? Every year we get influenced by the colors. What happened to all the everybody wearing that second skin yoga pants as pants? That died off, and then suddenly everyone was wearing these huge pleated trousers that were just like swimming in these giant folds of fabric, right? So we went from super tight to super loose. This is like how fashion is, right? So rather than just following the crowd, this is the year to make your own style, and not just about fashion, but in everything. Don't just follow trends because they're trends, but develop your own beautiful style, whatever it is that you're working on. Make time to really tune in and listen to yourself and establish your own style, your own way of being. This is a really interesting tip. You're going to have to figure out how it applies to you in your life, and that is to back yourself up. So horses do like attention. So this is a year about being more visible. But at the same time, horses are a little bit skeptical. So as you're becoming more visible and people see you, you might be open for more skepticism or criticism. So one tip for this year is, that's okay, but you just need to have backup or support. So let me just think of an example to share with you to ground it in something. We're working on, at LOTUSWEI, we're working on a new YouTube show. Maybe that will put us in front of people who have never seen anything about flower essences before. Maybe that will open us up to more skepticism and criticism. Hey, what's this woo-woo stuff? What are you doing out in the forest collecting flowers? If we're starting to work with a wider audience, we may invite in more skepticism. So we have a backup system, which is look at all these reviews we've gotten. Look at all these testimonials. Look at all these stories that people have shared with us. This isn't just us saying this. There's a whole crowd of people that are saying this. So you will want to have things that back you up to combat skepticism. How this is going to play out in your life, only you know. It could be in professional situations. It could be in personal situations where you just want to think from all the angles and make sure you have support going in. This is the year to be kind to yourself. So yes, it is the year to take action and focus and really take action on what those single pointed goals are, but also be willing to learn. If you make mistakes, this is not the year to hate yourself for it and to be really hard on yourself. If something that you have a plan to do doesn't work out, it doesn't pan out, don't blame yourself. It's just a part of the process of learning. And this kind of making mistakes and learning from our mistakes makes us really strong. We can't blame other people either. We don't want to blame ourselves. We don't want to blame others for any sort of misfortune or mistakes. Instead, we choose the righteous path, which is to own up to our mistakes, get some deep learning from it, and be strong from it. The other thing is that horses get startled really easily, right? So a horse will freak out if they see a frog or a snake or a rabbit or something on the path. So this is the year that things may have a tendency of throwing you off course because of so much fire energy and this horse energy. So the tip in this realm is to keep calm, to sit down, to contemplate, and only act or take action when you feel calm and strong. If you don't feel calm and strong, then just wait until this startled or distracted or disturbance energy passes. If unexpected things arise in your life this year, just know that you need to keep calm, sit down, contemplate, and wait. Don't let these unexpected events throw you off. Unexpected events will occur this year. So don't let it throw you off. Just pause. Just remember to pause, pause, pause. And also remember that things are never as bad as they seem, because we're talking about horses being startled by a frog, a snake, a movement, a noise, right? And that's never as bad as it seems. It could be a rabbit in the bushes, not something for the horse to be afraid of. So the same goes for us when unexpected things happen, to just pause and keep calm, and also remind ourselves that actually it's not as bad as it seems in this moment, and to just wait it out. Okay, this is an interesting tip. Don't let anyone lie to you, and don't lie. Everybody likes to lie. This is something that my spiritual teachers conveyed. Everybody likes to lie. And I said, well, how do you let people not lie to you? And he said, catch them and point it out and say, hey, you're not telling me the truth. You're not being truthful. Or you can just ignore them. So this year is the year to not let anybody be untruthful with you, to lie to you. And in that case, you have two choices: to either catch them in it and say, hey, you're not being truthful. What's the deal here? Or to just ignore them. And that this is something that will happen this year, and the rust will come out. And simply the tip is stop being lied to and stop lying. The last one is to stop wanting and start doing. Make happiness happen. This is very specifically from my spiritual teacher, so I'm going to go into a little bit of examples and stories to help us all understand. But he said, don't get stuck at a certain age group. So some of us get stuck at 12, 16, 20, 25, 30, 35, right? We get stuck at a certain age group, and then we're looking for happiness, looking for that similar happiness. And he said, you can't find happiness. You have to make happiness happen. And then he went through this beautiful example about the difference between joy and happiness. He said, you don't find happiness walking through the mountains. You find joy. It's not happiness, it's joy. And so I asked him, well, what is the difference between joy and happiness? And he said, joy is solid. Happiness is laughter. So what does that mean? Joy is something that you can't really express. It's like you're walking in nature and you suddenly feel this sensation arise within you that is like the overwhelming beauty of everything you're seeing around you. You can't necessarily put it into words. It can't be produced, but it just arises from within you. Joy is like the seed of whatever this energy is that's arising in you that's almost indescribable. It's like a state of being. And the happiness is a result of the joy. And happiness is laughter. So I shared an example with my teacher, and I said, let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly. So experientially, it would be like, I'm in Nepal, I'm walking through the jungle, I'm collecting orchids, and there's this like, oh, this like feeling that comes over my body. It's like blissful and joyful, and it's rising up in me, this tremendous joy. And then at night, after hiking all day and having that sensation, the four of us are just laughing and laughing and laughing. We can't stop laughing, having dinner. And everything's silly and everything's funny and everything's erupting and nothing, we can't control anything. And there's no attachment to anything. There's no grasping. It's just like bubbling up laughter, 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 super pure and super clean. That's the happiness part. So this year is the year to make laughter happen as a result of these joyful experiences, and to put yourself in situations where you can allow this joy to arise, whether it's being in nature, whether it's dancing, whatever those experiences are for you, that you feel this notable sense of joy arising in your body, to allow that to overflow out of you, to lead to the happiness that creates more laughter. Okay, so now I'm going to start by asking you 10 speed journaling questions. This is going to help you orient your support plan and how to catalyze the best results from this year. I'm going to do 10 questions right now, and then I'll go deeper. I'll dig deeper into each month and include a couple questions for each month. So the first question for the Fire Horse year is, and you can just jot down the top words or phrases that come to your mind. Try not to edit yourself. Just jot down the first thing that comes to your mind. The first question is, what do you want to take action on this year? And I would challenge you to limit it to 3 or less things. Like, what are the 1, 2, or 3 buckets, most important things you want to take action on this year? I'll give you a little bit of time, but not too much. Top 3 things, jot them down. Next question is, what fun outdoor activities would you like to do? What outdoor activities do you like to do? Maybe you take a canoeing trip. Maybe you go hiking. Maybe you go roller skating. Maybe you climb trees. What outdoor activities would you like to do this year? Question number 3 is, what do you love that makes you sweat? What do you love to do that makes you sweat? Speaking of sweating, it is so hot in this room. I don't know what's going on with our thermostats in this building, but it's like 95 degrees in this room. Sitting in this room is making me sweat. The next question is, how will you pamper yourself this year? Write down a few things. And this one you can do more than one. This one is not about focus. This one is like, how many things can you sprinkle in to take care of yourself? Write down all the things you would love to do to take care of yourself in a healthful way. And then you may not necessarily have time to do this right now, but put a big star on this section, because you want to come back to it and you want to put those in your calendar. I say plan them in, because the way we are and the way the Fire Horse year is, it's going to be really crazy busy, and you're going to be go, 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 go. And you're going to be so passionate about things. You want to have something planned in, whether it's exercise, outdoor time, your facial, your foot reflexology, your sauna sessions. Put them in your calendar. All right, next question is, who can help you with getting tested for food sensitivities or food intolerances? If you don't know, you can definitely email us or reach out to us. We can give you a few ideas. Whether it's blood testing, naturopathic physician, applied kinesiologist that can test your muscles, who can help you get tested with what foods are working really well for you and which foods are not. Next one, make a list of foods that you know of right now that disturb you and inflame you. What are the foods that you know right now, when you eat them, it disturbs you and inflames you or makes you sleepy and tired and not your best? And then what are some foods that give you lots of energy and make you feel amazing? What are some really nourishing foods for you that you can lean into more this year for strength and vitality? Next question. Kind of already asked this, but I want to ask it again. What is the 1 or 2 or 3 main focuses that you have for this year? Or if it's easier for you to just say, what's the number one priority for you this year? Sometimes something different will come out. Maybe your number one priority is your kids or your family or your spiritual practice. But then you have those other 3 things that you're going to do for work. So making sure that you know what those are, the number one priority for you for the year, and then also those 3 main focuses, things that you'll take action on. What is your one non-negotiable focus for this year? What's the most important priority for you this year, above all else? Above all the taking action, what's the most important focus for you this year? Next question. And if you're not able to answer any of these, that's okay. That's totally normal. You can come back to these and contemplate and reflect on them. Next question is, what practices do you do to cool down when you're feeling temperamental? What practices do you do to cool down when you're feeling temperamental? These will be the practices that you want to have on hand that you can do anytime, any place, anywhere. Driving in your car, you can do that. And the last question is, what brings you joy? What brings you joy? What makes that joyous feeling arise within you? All right, those are the questions for the year. I'm going to dig a little deeper into each month. I'm going to start with the month of February. February is when we are rocking into the fire horse year. Themes for February. These are going to be a little bit different than just the general overview. This will be about making things easier and dissolving our resistance. The habit of making things hard. Why do we do that? We sometimes like to make things hard, or we resist getting support or help or making things easy. So this is about learning how to let things fall into place instead of efforting and trying so much. It's about allowing more laughter and play and joy. That'll be the theme of February. Isn't that great? That's a great way to start off the year. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions related to this month. And this will be an interesting practice. You can jot down your answers and you can always come back to this in 6 months and see how you evolved. The first question is, when do you make things hard? When do you make things hard? We'll just see what pops out. Try not to edit yourself, because sometimes the answers that come out really quick are more profound than ones you really have to think and figure out. All right, second question is, how can you invite in more joy, play, and laughter? What kind of things could you do to invite in more joy, play, and laughter? Brainstorm this. I am going to recommend a flower for February that is a flower called mountain pink. And mountain pink is a flower that grows in just dry, barren landscapes, like nothing, like a pile of rock, and it just brightens up the environment. And it dissolves any sort of complication and criticism and our habit of making things hard. It amplifies the sense of surprise and delight and joy, belly laughing, playfulness. And in almost a surreal way, we can allow ease and effortless teamwork. We can help each other. We can magnetize aligned partners and collaborations. We don't have to have any resistance, and everything seems to just fall into place. That sounds amazing. I'm going to put a recommendation for, if you don't have access to the mountain pink, I'll put recommendations for blends that we already have. We'll put that in the comment section below. For March, I'm going to recommend the themes that we're working on are letting more love in and learning how to open to more love. magnetizing more love, embracing interconnectedness. It's kind of another like theme on that resistance. Sometimes we resist love. So 2 questions for this month of March are, how can we be more open to being loved and cared for? Do you ever resist being loved and cared for? And then the second question has more to do with speech. If your speech were more magnetic, because when you are like exuding the sense of being open to love, your speech oftentimes becomes more magnetic. If your speech were more magnetic and could draw people in, what kind of connections would you be interested in this year? For the month of March, I would recommend a flower called the flame coral tree flower. It is a wild red orange flower that dissolves our resistance to being loved and cared for. It's helping us know that we are understood and we're acknowledged and we're heard. And it amplifies our speech magnetism. So people just want to run with our ideas and it draws people in. It's like an energetic facilitator of the interconnections that exist between people. So this will be the month that you want to lean into this flower in order to attract all the helpful people to you. And when we feel loved and we don't have resistance to being loved, our ideas become more sticky and they gain traction. Oftentimes, when we're resisting love and resisting support and kind of like uptight and aloof and isolating, our ideas aren't as sticky, right? People don't necessarily like want to jump in and be on our team. But if we feel loved and then we feel more open, we will draw in more helpful people. So this is the month of March that we want to really break down our barriers to letting in more love so that we can allow helpful people to come in and amplify whatever it is that we're passionate about and we're taking action on this year of the fire horse. In April, the themes that we will be looking at collectively, this is a big one, especially in the West, is our desire to be special. All of us want to be special. And I think it comes from somewhere deep down, some sort of collective pattern around not feeling special. So then we look for ways to feel special, whether it's a relationship or a job or recognition. We want that outside recognition to show us that we are valuable and we are special. So in the month of April, we'll really be digging into that and looking at what would it look like to, instead of wanting to be special and wanting some external influence to show us and reflect to us how amazing we are, what if we just thoroughly and deeply enjoyed our own presence, recognizing that we are in fact special. So questions to reflect on for April. You're going to jot down an answer to. Right now, when do you find yourself longing for a union or for being considered special? It doesn't necessarily have to come from a union. I know a lot of people, we look for that through some sort of friendship or some relationship or some love. It can also be like a job promotion or people recognizing you publicly. When do you find yourself longing for recognition or praise or feeling some sense of being special? How does that show up in your life? And the next question is, when do you notice, what activities are you engaged in when you stop wanting that external validation? Like something that makes you embody special so inherently that you don't need to look outside for it. Something you're doing that makes you just sort of like be able to swim in the coolness and the creativity and the yumminess of your presence without looking outside for some sort of stimulation. What is it that you're doing in those moments? The flower that I'm going to recommend for April is the scariest looking orchid you have ever seen. It is, it looks kind of like a vampire with wings. We collected this flower in the jungle side in Panchase in Nepal. And this orchid helps us really look at our deep subconscious desires to be feeling special, recognized, praised. And also sometimes we get that like intense grasping and desire and wanting that comes from that seed pattern. And rather than falling into those dynamics, it helps us move through those and amplify enjoyment of our own presence, to be able to have the courage to pursue our own interests and our own creativity, and to really lean into the sense of our own delicious presence and spaciousness and freedom that resides within us, rather than looking for an external experience. April's going to be a big month for sure. Okay, May. In May, we're going to be looking at how to dissolve unhealthy attachments. And sometimes when we have unhealthy attachments, they prevent us from really harnessing in on what is that highest life path that we have, or the highest decisions, or the clearest pathway that we have, whatever those unhealthy attachments are. It could be an attachment to food or certain types of food. It could be an attachment to a way of being. It could be attachment to a person, a place, a routine, a way of thinking, right? All of these can be an unhealthy attachment. So we'll be taking a look at all of those, at the Rolodex of our unhealthy attachments that each of us have, and really looking at how do we turn towards more purity and clarity and focusing in. This is Year of the Fire Horse, right? We need to focus on our highest life path decisions and choices. So the question for right now, jot down the answer, is what is your highest path? Whatever comes to you. It could be spiritual, it could be professional, it could be personal, it could be family. What is your highest path right now? And the next question is, what drags you or lures you off or away from your highest path? What distracts you, lures you away, or drags you off your highest path? Jot down some answers. And the flower that I'm going to recommend for the month of May is a water hyacinth. Such a beautiful, delicate, powdery purple flower. And it grows in like kind of a swampy area. It grows in the water hyacinths grow right on top of the water. This particular water hyacinth we collected at the base of the Swayambhu Stupa in Kathmandu, Nepal. And the water hyacinth helps us clarify what is our highest life path. It dissolves any tendencies to be negatively influenced, to be thrown off the path. Remember, I was saying the fire horse year is one of those years that you don't want to just go with the crowd. You don't want to be influenced by peer pressure or just following what everybody else is doing. This is the time to uproot our habitual patterns and really use our life challenges to find our own way, to give us the strength to soften those unhealthy attachments and to get quiet and use the powers of observation, of contemplation, to be able to turn away from influences and really hone in on what is our highest path of purity, clarity, and devotion. In the month of June, we are going to be working with themes of magnetizing support that is free of agendas. And we're going to be able to dissolve any resistance to allowing greater visibility and expansion, knowing that we are deeply supported. This is a big one. To be more visible in the world is scary for some people. Expansion is scary for some of us. Like, what does that expansion mean? What are the ramifications of that? What are the ramifications of being more visible, of being on stage, of being seen, of being heard? And to be able to magnetize support around us that is free of any agenda, like purity of support. That's what we'll be working with in June. So here's the first question. When do you let fear or worry get the best of you or send you into a spin? When do you feel like out of control? When do you let fear or worry get the best of you or send you into a spin? And this can be directly related to expansion and visibility or just in general. And then the next question is, when do you allow support? But it's not just support, it's a specific kind of support. I'm going to call it masculine support. It's a support that's like, doesn't have to necessarily be from a man, although it can be from a man or men. Masculine support of structure and foundation and holding and strength. When do you allow this kind of masculine support? You can think of it, if it's easier to think of it in terms of when do you allow men to support you or a man to support you? Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. When do you allow men to support you? Or when do you allow yourself to experience masculine support like structure, strength? How easy or difficult is it to allow masculine support? That is absolutely free of agendas. The botanical that I'm going to recommend for June is the monument plant. It is this enormous stalk of flowers. They're green flowers with purple polka dots. They look kind of like stars. They grow at really high elevations. This one we collected on the border of Wyoming and Idaho. The elixir is about dissolving fear and stress responses. Any sort of like sense of spinning out of control, loss of support, even fear of tragic events happening, irrational fears. But what it's also doing is giving us this really strong, energetic template for masculine support, endurance, and commitment in a way that's free of agendas. It will help amplify unshakable strength within us and allow us to be in situations where we have greater visibility. Maybe that's on social media, maybe you're on a YouTube channel, maybe you get invited to an Instagram live, maybe you're on a podcast, maybe you get interviewed on TV. Maybe somebody asks you to speak up in your book club and there's 50 book club people there and all of a sudden you're on the spot. Maybe you're a student and you're invited to speak. There's so many different examples. What is it for you and what will it be for you in June to allow greater visibility and expansion, knowing that you have this tremendous support around you? And the last month of the first half of the Fire Horse year is July. The themes for July are going to be around feeling safe despite unseen forces. So we're really going to heighten our awareness and our intuition, but without having a sense of fear. We're going to feel into the different energies around us in our environment and allow for a clearer perception of truth and what is happening around us without it freaking us out. So the questions for this month of July are going to be, when do you feel unsafe or under attack or afraid of making a big mistake? One of those three situations. When do you feel unsafe or under attack or afraid of making a big mistake? When does that come up for you? Then the next question is a little strange. It's kind of interesting. How do you pick up on cues about unseen forces or energies in your environment? Things that you can't see. Whether it's emotional residue, whether it's a spirit, whether it's a sensation, whether it's just a funky energy. When do you and how do you pick up cues about unseen forces or energies in your environment? What's your detection method? The flower I'm going to recommend for the month of July is purple monkshood. This is a poisonous flower, so this is really only accessible in homeopathic or flower essence form. You cannot use this flower as an herbal remedy. You cannot eat it. It's only accessible in homeopathic or flower essence form, and it's highly diluted, so there are no more plant parts in this particular remedy. And this essence is for when we just have this sense of maybe we're not safe, or are we in danger, or could we be attacked? And this could be in a literal sense, or it could be maybe you're in a business meeting, or you're in a team meeting, or you're in a family meeting, and you feel like suddenly everybody's against you. This can also be when we're really afraid of making some kind of fatal mistake. It amplifies our sense and understanding of cues and signals. It allows for a really heightened sense of awareness and intuition, but without fear. Totally fearless openness and awareness. It amplifies our sense of feeling safe and in tune. We have this really clear perception of and sense of being energetically calm. We can actually, with this particular flower essence, recognize and better understand unseen forces and energies. We can get a better sense of how our energy field picks up information in a clear and fearless and safe way. So I hope that you have gained some insights and a plan on how to support yourself during this fire horse year, that you feel really clear going in. Some ways that not only behaviors, practices, approaches, but also flower essences to support you. And again, if you're interested in blends that can support you, we'll put those down in the comment section. And I just want to reiterate that the reason why we do these flower forecasts is to support everyone in reaching your full potential. The more that you can unravel and peel off the layers of you that aren't you and embody your full self and your true nature and the strengths and special qualities that you have, the more you liberate others to do the same. And it creates this tremendous ripple effect of awakening and transformation, and everybody stepping into their true gifts. So we have some additional tools and we're happy to share them. If you're on this call, you may know already about the Flowerevolution program. And if you're new, now is a great time to get the support that you need in order to help make this fire horse year an incredible success. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Lisa to tell you more about how we can help in terms of flower essences for the fire horse year.
Oh, thank you, Katie. That was amazing. It really gives you a sense of what's coming when you break it out month by month. And there's so many things that I really want to know more about, and I can't wait to experience. But and then the flowers. This is always the best part of the year because we get to get a hint of what's coming with the flowers that you've picked. And then I can also see how it ties to the past, because it was just a couple of months ago, for instance, we were all in Nepal and you were collecting the water hyacinth and the ones in the forest in Nepal. And it's so great to see them put into immediate service. So the flower evolution you mentioned is one of the best ways that we can support everyone out there, because that's the way to have access to your weekly fine-tuning information. That's one thing I love about the flower evolution, is that we get a weekly email where Katie draws our attention to the questions and just the cues in the environment and what's happening in our minds that reveal the subtle power of that flower. And so that's one of the things that you get with a flower evolution that you can't get any other way, is that it's like, she takes your hand and guides you through the month and gives you a peek into what's happening in her mind and all of ours. Because by the end of the month, the other fun thing that we do is we have a touchstone call where people join live. And I always have major ahas during that moment, because we'll do some more bullet journaling, but then Katie will ask people to share what's actually happened with them. And people will come up with stories of pretty amazing transformations and experiences that have happened to them that month. And then the light bulb goes on, because it's connecting all the dots. It's like, oh, that happened to me, or oh, I totally understand that because it was a little bit different for me, but it was like this. And then suddenly it just gives you a really broad and deep understanding of all of the different ways that flower was supporting us throughout the previous month. So that's the flower evolution. And we urge you, to take a look at it if you're not already in it. I know a lot of you are. But there's a link down below that will take you to a page that will explain all of the different things. You get a special gift every month, a surprise gift that comes with it to also help support. And you can buy it in lots of different ways. You can go month to month, say you want to try it out. You can do that. If you want to commit for 6 months and you get a better price at a subscription, and then you can pay month to month, or you can just go deep in and pay for the whole thing up front, save 15% that way. And for the international people, that's the way that we do it, because the shipping, of course, is the hardest thing for international. So you can get the whole package right up front, all at once, and then you'll have all of your things all ready to go throughout the next 6 months. And then like Katie said, there's other blends as well. Like if you choose not to do the Flowerevolution this time, she was describing different things. I could imagine, oh yeah, this could support that, or oh, okay, you could definitely substitute that, and it would give you something to go on. So I'm hoping that throughout the next 6 months, maybe we'll have other opportunities to talk about those other blends, and maybe have other support calls that can help deepen everybody's awareness of that and experience. But for sure, it's the thing that I love so much about flower essences is that we have this entire army of flowers out there just dying to help us. And, people come into the store here at the San Center at the LOTUSWEI headquarters. And sometimes I tell them, I said, if you're new to this, sometimes it seems too good to be true. And usually when things are too good to be true, then we're like, yeah, it is. But this is one case where it really is this way. Like you can have this kind of support. The flowers are there for you. And to have somebody like Katie who has tuned into it, who has distilled it down, who has given us the blueprints and the path to go on, that's super rare. That's I don't know where else you would find that. So definitely take advantage of all of the resources that we have, and we would love for you to join us.
One of the things I find really interesting is that flowers grow where humans are because we need them. They grow in service of what we need. There are over 40,000 species of flowering plants, and each flower has its own specific healing quality. My life's work is to go out into the wild and find exactly those flowers that we as humanity need most today. This beautiful paradise that we live in, this planet called Earth, is 4.5 billion years old. There's a lot of wisdom. When you look across the landscape, you see the flowers, which is this perfect and pure emanation or antenna of a particular flavor of healing quality that comes from the earth, that comes directly from the earth. It's plugged into the mainframe of the earth. Flowerevolution is a way to, every month, retether to a new sort of frequency, a new flavor of flower. We choose every month exactly the flower that we all need based on the collective consciousness.
It always is exactly what I need. It's almost though Katie is having some kind of secret conversation with the cosmos and knows exactly what the collective and what each of us will find most supportive through these flowers.
Each month you'll receive a flower elixir, and this is to elicit something within you that is your own birthright, that is just latent or quiet. It's like turning up the volume on your own inner wisdom. We will teach you about the flower, where it comes from, what's special about it, anything unique about the collection story, what the elixir is adjusting or showing you or highlighting in you each month. All of us in our lives have something that's like weighing on our heart. Something is bugging us, or something about ourselves that we wish we could change, or an experience that we're looking for. We want to expand something in our life. We want more success, we want more expansion, we want more love. Flower essences are one of the most powerful and easy ways to liberate those stuck things, cast off those limitations, and really embody more fullness of who you truly are. The reason I got into flower essences is because I was looking for a way to help people reach their full potential without limitations or fears.
There's no end to your healing. And I think that's been the biggest blessing in my life is I might not actually know what I need to work on next. I know there's work to be done. But when I start using a new flower essence, things start coming to me very easily, and I'm able to see the deficiencies that I have, and I'm able to then address those, learn from them, and move through them.
Watching these people transform their life, and you're like, holy crap, like, way to go. And so I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Put me in, coach, but like I'd like some flowers to go with it.
Flower essences really allow me to feel like my own divinity and the sacredness of being human.
Really is like such a lovely experience on so many levels. You've got literally nothing to lose and everything to gain.
If there is some part of you that is intrigued or curious or drawn to this, you can trust in that wisdom. I hope you join me and we will create a beautiful ripple effect across the world from the inside out.